So, I did an internship in Korea, but this story starts way before the internship. It starts in 2015, where my mom asked me, "Hey, you want to move to Korea? I got a job there." And I was like, "Absolutely. Hell yeah, let's go." So, my senior year of high school, we moved to Korea onto a military base. I was part of a graduating class of like 30 people, 40 people, but somehow the graduation ceremony still took 2 hours. We only had a couple people. Why did it take so long? I digress. I had a great time in Korea throughout my high school time, but I'll give more details about that in another podcast because Korea provides a lot of freedom because of its safety, which I greatly appreciate. So I got to do, again, I digress. So, my junior year of college, I did all the study abroads. So first semester, junior year of college, I was in Florence, Italy. Second semester, I was in New York. And then summer, I got accepted into the Korea program, which was actually a highly competitive program. So I was super excited to get into it. I was like, ooh, I get to go home, be with my family, and just was super excited to be back. And I was excited to do like an internship and study abroad at the same time in Korea. Anyways, so it starts off with, we had a couple of meetings to discuss how you should act in Korea because we'll be in a professional environment during this internship process. And there's all these noises going on outside. And we did a presentation where there was like, hey, you need to dress very modestly. You need to take all your face piercings out. This is kind of unacceptable in Korea. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I mean, I've been in Korea. I know a little bit about the Korean culture. I had been spending time in Korea, spending my summers there for the past couple of years, but doing an internship in a corporate fashion environment was completely different. So I was taking the notes. They also assigned me to my person. And so this girl was a person that I didn't really know before, but we were doing the same internship program in Korea. And so we were to meet up and discuss where we're going to live. We decided to live in a hostel. And they explicitly said, don't live in hostels. But I was like, why not? It's cheaper. It's way more difficult. At least I thought it was way more difficult to try and find a place that'll only accept us for a month. And then I didn't want to do an Airbnb because it was just so expensive. So we stuck with the hostel, which was a great decision in my opinion. My mom helped me pay for the study abroad. I'm looking at my computer because I have notes. My mom helped me pay for the study abroad for New York City and for Korea. For Florence, I helped her pay, but I tried to help her pay for for the Korea one, but New York City tapped me out of money. Like, I had a paid internship. And again, I'll do a whole podcast about my internship in New York City, but girl, I was eating rice and beans. And if you're not a girl, you know what I mean. I was eating rice and beans trying to survive in New York City. But my mom helped me pay for the study abroad. I keep on saying internship. I wonder how many times I've said that. Whatever. But the plane ticket was free with the military because through the military, they allow the dependents to have a free flight to come and visit their parent. So once a year. So at least the plane ticket was free because if you know that a plane ticket to Korea is always above $1,000. Always. Always, always, always. If you find a ticket for below $1,000 to Korea, hit me up. Let me know. Arriving to Korea, I had actually gotten there early, about, I want to say a couple weeks earlier, since my mom lived there. I just stayed with her in Pyeongtaek. And, I mentioned in my previous podcast about me getting lost in Korea that if I'm in Korea, I'm going out on dates. So I had gone out on a couple of Tinder dates with like one guy from here, another guy from there. You don't need to know those details. But my roommate was to get there later. So I took the public transit to the hostel in Itaewon. And Itaewon was actually close to the Seoul military base. So I was able to take a bus from Pyeongtaek to the Seoul military base. And then from the Seoul military base, I think I just walked to the hostel. No, I think I took a taxi. Took a taxi because I had luggage. Taxi from the hostel to, from Seoul to the hostel in Itaewon. I met up with her. It was our first time meeting since I had been in New York. We didn't actually get to meet, physically. I think we had only ever chatted. We didn't even speak, video chat each other. So this is our first time sussing out the vibes, and getting to know each other. And, we had gone out to eat, got to know each other. And the next day we decided to just do a trial run of how to take the subway to our new job for the next month. Because the internship was only a month. And then we had a second month for the university study abroad program that we were doing, which is for another episode as well. But we look forward to our first day in office when we did the trial run. We were super excited about it. And it just felt official. It felt official. So our first days, our hostel actually provided breakfast for us. So again, why getting a hostel was important, because those people that were staying in Airbnbs or apartments that they were only able to rent for a month, they weren't getting free breakfast. They were not. But I was. At a cheaper price, too. So our hostel served breakfast every morning, and so we would go there, be the first ones there. As soon as she opened up the door for breakfast, ate our breakfast really quickly, and then walked to the subway. So our first day, we get there, and we are early, but it still felt like we waited for a long time for someone to come down and get us and realize that we were there. Like, hey, there's 2 foreigners down here. Maybe we should see what that's about. I don't know. But we, somebody comes, we grab coffee, and because there's a cafe, right in the business building, there's a cafe there. We grab coffee, we chat with our buddies, who are supposed to be kind of like our mentors and show us around, tell us about the job, tell us about Korean culture, and just overall just make our time feel comfortable there. We also took pictures for IDs. We had official photo IDs that we had to show to the security guard and tap to go up to the elevator. It was all very official. It was really cool. Because my internships prior to that wasn't at a corporate job. So I was like, oh, this is the corporate job that all of the old school 90s, 2000s movies were talking about. It was cool. In the moment, I thought this was cool. I was like, it's official. I made it. But we meet our buddies, who are 2 women. I forget their names, but I still follow them on Instagram, so I could probably just look it up. But I don't feel like it. It was my first time in a corporate office for fashion. Obviously I had been to my mom's offices, but she works in HR, so it's a little bit different. So again, super excited. We learned a lot. Well, I don't say a lot. We learned a little bit about what being a technical designer was, because our role within the internship was technical designer, and we would be working with the technical design team. So they told us about the job, how They're in charge of measuring the garments, processing the garments, doing the fit for the garments, so forth, so on. And then they send these fit evaluations back to the buyer. And then the buyer could be anybody from like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, anybody else, because it was a mass market manufacturing company that I had been interning for, like a really big company. This was a big deal. When my mom was telling her Korean coworkers about me and the company that I was interning at, they were like, "Oh my God, that's such a big deal." Me, I was like, "Oh, like this is cool," but no, it was a big deal. But most of the days, to be honest, there was a lot of downtime. We were showed to our cubicles, and we each had our own little cubicle, which I thought was pretty cool. But we just kind of sat around a lot of the time. I guess because the communication on the manufacturing end, on the vendor's end, the communication is then to the pattern makers. So once we receive the fit evaluations from the buyer, we would then send it to the pattern makers, but explain to them exactly how the pattern needed to be fixed for then another sample to be made. The issue was the pattern makers and the sample makers only spoke Korean. So we weren't really able to be helpful in that aspect of things, where we were potentially able to provide a little bit more service, or where they might have been able to utilize us, is after we received the garment from the sample makers. We were then supposed to measure or spec everything out, and then place the garment onto a mannequin. And so there was like a whole bunch of mannequins. Each mannequin was for a different company. So they had Walmart mannequins, Target mannequins, so forth, so on. We were supposed to place the sample onto the mannequin and then do a fit evaluation saying, "Oh, the armhole's a little bit tight. Oh, this needs to be increased a little bit more," so forth, so on. And then type up a fit evaluation and then send it to the vendor. Send it to the buyer. But they didn't really trust us with any of that. I don't say they didn't trust us. I think they were just confused about how to utilize us for real. Anyways, on with the story. Even though we weren't doing much, I looked forward to lunches. They took us to some fabulous places for lunch, and they paid for it most of the time. So, free breakfast, free lunch. All I had to worry about was dinner. This was a great time. What do you mean? This was an amazing time. It made everything worth it. And so, yeah, like there was a Chinese food place that was good. Of course, we had Korean places. There was a burger place that was really poppin'. The only downside is that I think lunch was only like 40 minutes or maybe an hour. But because everybody got out at lunch, because this was in Gangnam. And if you know Gangnam, you know Gangnam style. Like, Wopbang Gangnam, it's a big business district area of like all the big companies are there. So everybody's getting out at the same time. Everybody for lunch. So the lines were so long. It just wasn't. It was just annoying. But the food was popping. Listen, the food was popping always. But outside of that, our first days, our buddies also took us on a couple of like little trips outside of work, which was pretty cool. So they took us to Dongdaemun, which is a like fabric vendor shopping area where you can buy fabric trims, notions, anything you need or want to create a design. It was actually really cool. they took us to also in Dongdaemun. That is where they have the Korean Fashion Week at. So I got to stand and like on the side of the building where everybody goes and take their pictures. It was really cool. It was really, really cool. And then they took us to a little spot to try a Korean dish where it's like raw meat and egg. And me and my like partner, we were both too scared to try. Like we were both too scared to try it. Even though like now looking back on it, I really wish I tried this dish. I didn't go because I can't swim, but the girl that I was with, my partner, she went surfing with them, which looked really cool. And then, yeah, everything, they were super duper nice, but then it's like, were you actually nice? Or, I don't say were you actually nice, but did you actually want to spend your weekend showing us around? Or is this because, like, you were told to? So I kind of felt bad about that. And then there's an ant climbing on me. They also, we went out for Korean barbecue one night, and afterwards it was a weekday. We had to go to work the next day. It was already late. Let me finish my whole entire sentence. They wanted to go out with us after getting Korean barbecue with the whole team. And I think they wanted to go do the norebangs to karaoke. Me and my girl, we were like, listen, we're tired. I know that we're just sitting around doing nothing all day, but that is tiring, to be honest, to be frank. I am tired. And then we just gorged ourselves in a whole bunch of meat. I am tired. But you know the Koreans be partying hard. This is well known. They work hard and they party hard. We just couldn't hang. Anyways, after that one team, we actually ended up switching teams. So the team that we were originally with worked on like Walmart, Kohl's, and children's wear and stuff like that. And then this new team that we were on worked strictly with Target, which was really, really cool. So we didn't have our own cubicles this time. They placed us in a not very well lit meeting room. And we were still doing the same things. We were taking pictures of the garments on mannequins. We were measuring, and we were doing a little bit of pattern corrections. They also took us to a field trip to see a couple of the sample rooms, which honestly was the coolest thing. It's the thing that I most remember about the trip, just being able to see the different tools that they use in order to create the samples. I was in awe. Like, I love fashion I love fashion in general for the art of it, but I also just love the construction of it. Like, that, seeing how things are made, like, you know that show, How Things Are Made. I think that's what it's called. It was a show for a reason, because people wanted to see. People wanted to know. I'm people. So, we were introduced to a new buddy this time, who I also still follow on Instagram, and I remember her name. Her name was Kylie. At least that's like her American name. And she was honestly the coolest person ever. I wanted to be her friend, but you know, the power dynamics, you can't really be friends. Plus the amount of time that we were with them, it just wouldn't have worked out, even though I wanted to be her friend. So yeah, we did the same things. After work, I would try to go to different spots and eat at different spots in Itaewon. But if you know anything about Korean culture, like, eating by yourself is not something that people do often. So it was kind of a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. So I ended up mainly eating the corner store food. So I would go to, like, you know, the 7-Eleven, or what is it called? the CU25, or if you're in Korea, you know, there's like a purple corner store that has purple as one of the main colors. Because, I mean, breakfast and lunch were already taken care of. All I had to worry about was dinner. I could just eat ramen noodles. What do you mean? On the weekends, we would be out and about. Sometimes I would go to Pyeongtaek and hang out with my mom and stepdad for a little while. And, of course, check in with the guys that I had matched with on Tinder. And then sometimes a group of us who were also part of the internship program, they were just in different factories and different companies. We would meet up and go out and party and drink, or meet up at a mall, go to a shopping area, whatever we felt like doing, just exploring Korea and enjoying being in Korea. It was a fun time. The last days that we were in the internship, there was some miscommunication between the university and the internship companies, because they found out last minute that it was required for us to complete a project of all that we learned. And, you know, we had been sitting around not doing a whole lot. And so our buddies and, like, the people on the team were kind of freaking out a little bit, not knowing if we had learned enough to even create a presentation or a project. And then the CEO of the company was going to be there and see our projects, as well as the representative from the university would be there to see all of our projects. And so honestly, we were just excited to be doing something. We were like, oh great, a project, and it actually matters, because before, the work that we were doing wasn't actually mattering or being considered. It was kind of just busy work. They had already done all of the work and decided to just give it to us. It was interesting. But we completed the project and it was great. We presented it in front of all of our buddies, and they were honestly impressed at our presentation and how much we took away from the experience. And they commented on how good our project was. They just said, "Oh, you presented so well. This was very great. I'm glad that you took away so much." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, we had to pull something out of the hat. And make something shake." So afterwards, and I feel like, going back to the project, I feel like once they saw our project, they realized that they could have actually probably utilized us more, and that we were able to do more quality work, work that actually meant something. But it was too late. It was fine. At the end, we had a really nice lunch with the CEO and was laughing at all of his jokes. You know how that goes. When you got a kiki with the CEO. So overall, what I took away from the experience, and I did learn a lot. Doing the project, I realized, okay, I did learn a lot. I learned a lot more than I knew before about the corporate fashion industry and mass market fashion. I learned how to accurately measure garments. I learned how to take pictures of garments on a mannequin. I learned about the sample making process and what happens after the buyers submit their fit evaluations, what the manufacturers and vendors are doing on their side of things. I learned how to navigate Korean public transit, because I got lost. If you didn't listen to that podcast, I got lost. So I learned how to work the Korean public transit this time. I learned the importance of brushing your teeth after lunch, because every single time after lunch, they would be going up to the bathroom and brushing their teeth. Every single person was brushing their teeth. So, you know what? I got myself a little toothbrush too from the Daiso and was brushing my teeth with them. I also learned that I do not want to work in a corporate environment in Korea. It just wasn't for me. No, I think the fluorescent lights were too bright. I think that the environment, and again, we're outsiders coming in to an all Korean team, even though they speak English. There's cultural differences. There's just a lot of differences. It just kind of felt like we were. It felt like we were outsiders. It didn't feel like we could provide service or value to them in a way that they considered valuable. And so I don't know if it'll be different now that I have more work experience and now that just now that I have more work experience, but no, they were working long hours, girl. They were working long hours. They were really, really tapped in to the games that you have to play to survive in a corporate environment. And I don't like to play games. I don't like to play games. I don't like to work long hours. And that's expected of me. I just realized that it wasn't for me, but definitely a great experience that I was able to put on my resume, which aided me in getting another job in the fashion industry. So just internally grateful for that experience, even if there was a lot of downtime and a lot of naps being taken, but we're not going to talk about the naps. We're going to talk about the times where I actually did work, of course, on the resume. But thank you for listening to Often an Adventure, and next week, or not next week, there'll be another episode coming up, maybe about my Florence internship, how that internship went in Italy. So yeah, thank you for listening and watching if you're watching on YouTube, and listening if you're listening wherever you're listening to. Don't forget to rate, please, and if you're on YouTube, to like and subscribe, because I appreciate it. I need it. It is appreciated and it is needed. Thanks, guys. Bye.